All right, time to set the record straight on the Alcadine Muhammad defection.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome in, everybody. It's a brand new week of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day on the number one sports podcast network. Matt Dery with you on a Monday, March the 16th into St. Patrick's Day, Tuesday, March 17th. Thanks for being with us, making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcast, and don't forget to subscribe on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. On the program today, well, first and foremost, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel, giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. A lot to get into today. Alcadine Muhammad has left for Tampa Bay. We told you that on Friday. He held a press conference over the weekend, and a lot of people are just blowing the headlines out of proportion. Oh, AQM rips the Lions. Don't know, don't care. Calm down. Can I just read you some of the quotes and reel everybody in so that we're not sitting here trying to make something out of nothing? We will do that momentarily. Kirby Joseph posts on social media that he's making a comeback. We're hopeful he's correct. Ben Bartch, yes, Ben Bartch visited the Lions today in Allen Park. Who is that? We will tell you. And yes, the Edge Options Room is back open again. The BAU Bistro back open for business as usual, down at 222. As the Lions continue to look for cheap edge rushers, we'll give you some options coming up today right here on Locked On Lions. Thanks to our everyday listeners. And we got some new everydayers. I got to say hello to Lena and Josie Frank. All right. I had breakfast with their dad, Sam, today. They love the Lions. Lena and Josie, tell your brother Leo to get involved with the Lions. Come on, Leo. Go to the games with the fam. Love up on some football here. All right. We love you, Leo. No pressure. All right. Everydayer Club. We'll tell you about that coming up momentarily as well. Okay, so last Friday we told you Alcadine Muhammad, the 31-year-old edge rusher, is leaving the Lions and signing a one-year, $6 million deal, an upwards of $6 million, with the Tampa Bay Bucks. AQM had a huge year last year in terms of rushing the passer for this Lions team. He did a nice job opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, finishing the season with 11 sacks. And, in 17 games was a specialized pass rusher that got the job done when it got to go into the quarterback. Now, we knew this. Alcadine had said at the end of the season he wanted to stay in Detroit, but was going to be testing the free agent waters and didn't get a real sense that he was going to get a huge offer from Detroit to stay. And that's exactly what happened. So he held his press conference on Saturday, or maybe he was on Zoom or whatever. And he talked about how he had talks with Casey Rogers, the Lions defensive line coach, and his defensive line coach of the Lions this past year about Tampa Bay, because Rogers was with the Bucs for 6 years before coming to Detroit. So Muhammad said, me and him spoke. He said it would be a great fit. He said I would really like it. So I knew there was some familiarity there. I felt really confident, really happy about it, excited about it, end quote. Now, some of the headlines that are making their way around social media and even the internet, I'll use the example on the 97 on the Ticket website. Alcadine Muhammad on whether Lions wanted him back. Quote, I don't really know and I don't really care. That is not what he said. End quote. That's not how he said it. Alcadine Muhammad says the Lions never offered him anything and he doesn't know why. Hold on a minute here. All right. Could Muhammad be useful again in returning to the Lions? Of course. Is he a guy I wanted back? Yes. Do the Lions have anybody as good as him right now opposite of Aiden Hutchinson today on March 16th? No. Tyler Lacey? No. Ahmed Hassanin? No. All right. So when asked in the news conference how much interest the Lions showed in bringing him back, Muhammad said, I don't really know how they thought about it or exactly what went into it, and I don't really care. I'm in Tampa now. I'm happy to be in Tampa, and if I'm not mistaken, they're on the schedule this year, so I'm excited about that. And I do love Detroit. He keeps going. It was amazing. It's a great organization. I appreciate them for giving me the opportunity to go out there and do some great things. And I look forward to also playing against them, end quote. Should he be a little bit bitter that they didn't come after him? Of course. But this notion of, oh, Muhammad's pissed at the Lions. I don't know, and I don't care. That's not, I got it. Sometimes we in the media, and I don't really consider myself media anymore. I'm more of a fan. I'm a podcast host. But let's read the entire quote. Let's be fair to the young man. And let's be fair to the Lions. If the Lions feel like we're going to draft an edge rusher and we're going to pick up an edge rusher later, maybe trade for one, I don't know what the Lions' plan is. I don't know what the Lions' plan is at all in free agency. But two things can be correct at once. I might not know what they're doing in free agency, but I also know that if they plan on drafting an edge at 17, which might be the plan, they're not going to bring in an edge rusher at 17 that is going to compete with a guy that they're paying $6, $7, $8 million to. They're drafting a guy at 17 to play. And I get it. You need more than one edge rusher. But to sit here and say Muhammad's mad and he can't wait to get his revenge. Come on. Yeah, he said he would love to play them this year and he's looking forward to it. He also said he loves the organization, appreciates them. Tell me what other GM 2 years ago took a shot at this guy, gave this guy a chance. Nobody. Brad Holmes got him off the street after he was let go off the Colts practice squad. He was given an opportunity by the Lions. And actually, let me go back. He was let go by the Colts. Then he'd been cut by the Cowboys at the start of training camp in 2024 and did not play for a couple of months until the Lions picked him up. He had a really good 2 years here in Detroit. But remember, he only played 40% of the snaps because he's not good against the run. He is a pass rushing specialist. 110th time now. Could the Lions use him? Yes. Why aren't the Lions signing him? Don't know. But to sit here and go, he can't wait to get his revenge and he hates the Lions, that is wrong. He said he didn't really know and later on said he didn't really care because he was in Tampa now. All right, and I want to get to some edge rushing options in a minute, but I am going to throw this out there as to what I see the Lions doing. And it was pointed out on A to Z Sports by Mike Payton, and I had the exact same thought, but I wanted to give Mike some credit because it was a really good article. Go read it. Mike brought it up. What the Lions are doing right now is getting younger. They're getting a lot younger. Now, are they going on the cheap? Are they signing guys to one-year deals? Yes. Roger McCreary is a young cornerback that they picked up from the Titans and the Rams from last year on a cheap one-year deal. Christian Izien is 26. He's younger than Amik Robertson. They got him on a one-year cheap deal. All right. Isaiah Pacheco is a younger guy. This guy, Ben Bartch, that I'm about to tell you about a little later on in the podcast, a 27-year-old backup offensive lineman and maybe a rotational piece that visited Allen Park today. The Lions are getting younger and cheaper. Are they waiting on the contracts of Bartch and Laporta to spend that money on their own guys? Yes, I believe that's what they want to do. I have no other explanation as to why they cleared $30, $40 million of cap space with a Jared Goff restructuring and really haven't done anything about it. And they're waiting. They don't want to pay big prices for edge rushers right now. They want to wait. Cam Jordan's number comes down every single day. Every single day. AJ Epenesa's number. Joey Bosa's number. Jadeveon Clowney, I just don't see as a fit here from a personality standpoint, but I could be wrong. Their numbers continue to come down as the days keep going down. Today was a very quiet day and the official first day of week 2 of free agency across the board around the league. All right. People jumped at bigger contracts last week, scooping up guys. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. If the Lions finish this year 9-8 again, or 10-7 and sneak into the playoffs and lose the first round, we can come back to free agency and say the Lions did not do enough this offseason. But I'm telling you, they're trying to get younger, more competitive at certain positions, especially in the secondary, and maybe even on the offensive line. All right, we'll see. But they've got nine times. They've got 9 draft picks. And they're going to, maybe they'll use them all. and have some massive competition and some young blood coming in here, because the guys that they've let go, Anzalone in his 30s, Muhammad in his 30s, Decker in his 30s. Maybe they're getting younger. Yes, we know they're getting cheaper. But if guys play better, I mean, Meek Robertson got $8 million a year from the Commanders. 2 years, $16 million. How much better is a Meek Robertson than Christian Izien? I think maybe in the Lions' eyes, not that much better. And they got Izien for less than $2 million. All right, coming up next, Kirby Joseph says comeback is upon us for this year. You know how important this is? This is something we don't talk about enough. We will next, right here on Locked On Lions. All right, everybody, college basketball March Madness is here. And yes, my voice just cracked. College basketball nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs that my voice cracked like David the Hatchet Man Hall. Late night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board, and we've got March Madness here. Now, FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want. Rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your read. You can mix spreads, totals, player props to match how you see the slate playing out. We got games starting tomorrow night with the first four. Then you can apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Michigan's a 1 seed. MSU drops down to a 3 seed. Watch out in that bracket with MSU. For my guy, Brian Hodgson, hopefully the next head coach at Syracuse, and South Florida. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel. Play your game. All right, thanks for making Locked On Lions your first listen. Thanks for making us the #1 sports podcast network. Join our Locked On Lions Everydayer Club now with code MARCH and get your first month free. If you sign up for the NCAA tournament tips off this Thursday, you can compete against me in our men's and women's bracket pools on the Discord chat. All right, the winner in each will get $100 in Locked On merch. The rest of us can commiserate in the members-only chats as our brackets blow up. All right, as a member of the Locked On Lions Everydayer Club, you get an ad-free version of the show. Yet it's all free for a month with code MARCH at lockedonlions.supercast.com. That's lockedonlions.supercast.com. Get it on the bracket contest as well. All right, so this weekend on his social media, yes, on the Instagram, on his Instagram story, jkerb25_, Kirby Joseph posted, quote, 2026 will be even more special. Comeback player of the year. All right. How big would this be to see Kirby Joseph heal up with a bad knee, which was never healthy last year, going back to training camp, and do his thing? All right. If he can win comeback player of the year, that makes this defense that much better. We do not talk enough about Kirby Joseph. We mentioned Aiden Hutchinson. We've talked about the emergence of Jack Campbell. We always talk about the edge rusher opposite of Aiden. We talk about Aleem McNeil and how he must get better. All right. We're talking about, too, who's going to replace Alex Anzalone. Today, Malcolm Rodriguez at his press conference, as he's re-upped on a one-year deal, says, hey, opportunity. I want to start. I want to play. We'll see. Brian Branch, how good is he? DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, 2 years in, still don't know. We don't talk enough about Kirby Joseph. 2 years ago, right, the 2024 season, Kirby Joseph was an all-pro safety. And he missed the last 11 games last year due to that left knee soreness and everything else. And there were a lot of reports that surfaced about, is it a cartilage issue? Is it a meniscus irritation? Everything else. All right. But the Lions have kept it pretty close to the vest on Joseph. All right. According to reports, he's undergone specialized treatments, dry needling, rehab, and everything else. But Joseph was spotted, I believe it was at the Michigan basketball game a couple of weeks ago, throwing T-shirts out into the crowd, looked nimble, looked like he knew what he was doing. Shout out to my guy, Anthony Broom, who had that video, covers Michigan basketball. And Kirby now is saying on his social media that, hey, comeback player of the year award. He will return. If he was concerned about his knee and if he questioned whether he would even be out there and that this is some sort of career-threatening injury, would he be posting that on social media? I don't think so. So this is huge news for this team. Yes, they've added some safety help. Christian Izien can play safety. Roger McCreary is more of a corner. Lions have added a couple of guys. They re-signed Rock Yassin. By the way, Rock Yassin said today down in Allen Park that Ennis Rakestraw, if he's healthy, will play 12 to 15 years in this league. I thought that was interesting too. But Kirby Joseph coming back and putting him with Brian Branch just makes this defense so much better. And look, those guys are going to have a long year if the Lions can't rush the passer. If it's Aiden Hutchinson and there's nobody else getting to the quarterback, Houston, we have a problem. All right. But those two guys are playmakers, and great for Kirby to kind of acknowledge on his social that he believes he can be comeback player of the year. And they need him to be. They need him to be. The guys that filled in last year were fine. Thomas Harper and others. Daniel Thomas, they were fine. But nothing beats having a healthy Kerby Joseph back. So let's hope for that. According to the waiver wire today, the Lions today had Ben Bartch visit Detroit. He's a free agent offensive lineman who started 2 games at left guard each of the last 2 years for the 49ers. He's got 26 career starts between his time in Jacksonville, 15 at left guard, 11 at right guard, playing for San Francisco and again for the Jaguars. If we look at our trusty PFF, Ben Bartch is 27 years old, 6'6", 315, played at Little St. John's College in Minnesota, was drafted in the 4th round by the Jaguars, traded in 2023. Actually, he was released in 2023 by the Jags and picked up by the Niners. Last year, his PFF grade was 71.7. He made 2 starts, both at left guard in weeks 1 and 2 for the Niners. Both those games that he started, week 1 against Seattle, week 2 against New Orleans, PFF of 74.8 and 73.5. Came off the bench in weeks 10, 11, and 12. Did not start those games, and then started and also in week 13. So actually weeks 10 through 13, he was a sub. And he finished with a 71.7 PFF grade. Pass blocking, 65.4. Run blocking, 69.7. For his career, Ben Bartch has been in the NFL 6 years. Highest PFF grade he had was 2024 with the Niners, 74.8. All right, so this is a depth piece, a guy that was a 0-star recruit when he was a tight end at Division III St. John's. Big dude. And was hosted today by the Lions for a visit. What's interesting is Detroit is, and again, you could call it dumpster diving. That's fine if you want to call it that. The Lions are looking at younger guys that are going to be on 1-year deals to compete for spots. And so that's that. Right now, if we're talking about left guard right now, that's Christian Mahogany's job. But Ben Bartch has started games for good teams. He was on decent Jacksonville teams. He was on good San Francisco teams. And he's right now currently unsigned. So you want to bring in Bartch to push Mahogany? Go for it. This guy was a 4th round pick. But again, I don't want to see competition. When they start the season in September, wherever that is, in week 1, I want this offensive line to have been gelled better than they were a year ago and to not have a swinging gate of, oh, we're going to play Miles Frazier 1 minute. We're going to play Awashika the next. We're going to move guys around. Remember last year, remember who was the guy they put at center for the Bears game? Or not the Bears game. Oh gosh, who started at center for a game last year? It was an unmitigated disaster. Get 5 guys and let's roll. And you have to figure if they move Sewell to the left side, which is not a lock, that they're going to be drafting a right tackle. They're going to be drafting an edge at 17 and a tackle in the second round, or flip it. You have to figure that's the case. Unless they're going and signing Cam Jordan or somebody else or a couple of edges. I don't know. But Ben Bartch is a legitimate depth piece, a guy that started games, and he's a competition guy. So Lions need depth at offensive line, and they brought in Bartch for a visit today. All right, coming up next, I mentioned before there are edge rushers out there on the market. Who is still left? We'll tell you about that coming up next. All right, folks, Locked On Lions today brought to you by TurboTax. It is tax time for a lot of us. The old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. Just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Shout out to all of our sponsors. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing on Locked On Lions. It has been a real pleasure to be doing this show daily with you for a long time. And we appreciate our everyday listeners. Hopefully you join our everyday club, be on our Discord chat. And just thanks for being with us. Appreciate all of you daily that are here with us on Locked On Lions. I get where the frustration lies with a lot of the fans, especially when it comes to who's going to be the edge rusher, who's going to be this, that. Why aren't the Lions spending more money in free agency? I trust Brad Holmes. I do. I think he's a damn good GM. But my trust will wane if this offseason this is all they've done and they're just drafting player. I don't know. I want to see the full body of work. But I'm frustrated like you guys are too, because there are some good players that were out there that the Lions did not go after. And for some of the guys they're not bringing back, I get that too. You know, Avonte Maddox is still out there. But again, he's an older player. You see the trend that the Lions are going with right now with picking up younger guys on 1-year prove-it deals. And maybe that will be a motivator. Dan Campbell said it. He wants competition. He's going to have it. As far as edge rushers that are available, the Lions cannot start the year with Lacey and Hassanin. And I guess Onwuzurike could play the outside, but I hate that game. I don't like that game at all. Remember when they played Aleem McNeil at edge last year? That was bupkis. That did not work. So guys like Trey Hendrickson, Odafe Owe, Jalen Phillips, they got 4-year deals. They got big-time money. Bradley Chubb got 3 years and 54 from the Bills, and I thought that was an overpay. So what are some options right here, right now? Well, my first choice is 36, about to be 37-year-old Cameron Jordan. Now, I get it. Cam Jordan is old, all right, and he's past his prime. But for a fit for Detroit, knowing Dan Campbell like he does from his New Orleans days, and a guy that had 10.5 sacks last year, is an unbelievable leader, was captain of the Saints for years, and finally can be on a winner. Go get him. Are you willing to spend, though, between, if Alcadine Muhammad got $6 million, Cam Jordan's getting at least 7, maybe 8. So if Jordan's agent saying we're not taking anything less than $7 million, would the Detroit Lions, who have the money to spend, go get him? All right, that is an option for Detroit right now. I told you I don't think Jadeveon Clowney fits what the Lions do in the locker room. I don't, but he's there. 13 games played last year, 8.5 sacks for Clowney, 40 quarterback pressures. Joey Bosa is another name we all know. All right, Bosa, 5 sacks last year in 15 games, for the Buffalo Bills. Very, very interesting that a lot of times injury riddled, although he wasn't last year, Joey Bosa, 6'5", 280, is still available. All right. It was 4 years ago that he had double-digit sacks, and he hasn't had it since. But Bosa's going to command probably the most money of anybody still out in the market. His teammate with the Bills, A.J. Epinesa, probably won't command what Bosa, you got to believe, is going to ask for at least $10 million. If Alcadine Muhammad's getting 6, Bosa is going to get at least 10 to 12, probably on a one-year deal. Epinesa is interesting, out of Iowa, played for the Bills last year, but only 2.5 sacks, 28 quarterback pressures in 16 games. He's kind of been a guy that when he came out of college, you thought, oh, he's great motor. He's going to have a big career. And now the Bills are basically letting him walk. And he's a lot younger than Joey Bosa. Anthony Jennings is interesting. The Patriots let him go. He was a cap casualty a couple of weeks ago. Played in 14 games last year, 15 quarterback pressures, and 2 sacks. Better run defender than pass rusher, but an edge rusher nonetheless, and more of a hybrid linebacker edge rusher. You can get Anthony Jennings, I would think, for like $4 million. KVN is available. Am I really sitting here on Locked On Lions today on March 16th, 2026, discussing the legendary Kyle Van Noy? Yes, I am. KVN sucked here in Detroit. He was so bad. Second round pick and bust. He goes to New England. He's a stud. He goes to Baltimore. He's a stud. Kyle Van Noy's had a good career. He had 12.5 sacks 2 years ago for the Ravens. Last year, just 2 sacks. Could he come back to Detroit? It's not a pretty sight when he was here. Kyle Van Noy. And the other guy to consider is Joe Tryon Shoyinka. Was on the Browns last year, traded to the Bears, touchdown Bears, traded to the Bears at the deadline, and did have some time. He was in Tampa and played for Casey Rogers, the Lions D-line coach. All right. This was a guy that has never lived up to the billing when he came out of college, but he probably signed for like $1 million to $2 million. And that's kind of in the range Lions are signing free agents to. So that's a name to keep an eye on. Joe Tryon Shoyinka, ex of the Bucks, was a first-round pick in 2021. Wow. Was drafted 32nd overall. Bucks declined his 5th-year option. Went to the Browns. He go to the Bears. Bucks, Browns, and then Bears last year. Was traded along with a 7th-round pick for a 6th-round pick. Most sacks he's had in a season is 5 in the 2023 campaign for Tampa Bay, playing for Casey Rogers. Keep an eye on that one because of his familiarity with Rogers. So those are your edge rusher options. There's others out there, Dante Fowler, Derek Barnett, and others, but the list is a mile long. Those are just guys I think could be a fit for Detroit. The great Sam Monson from the 33rd team and his excellent podcast with Steve Palazzolo going to join us Wednesday on the show. We'll discuss their thoughts, and I'm going to play you some audio on tomorrow's show. We're also going to do Mock Draft Monday tomorrow. I want to spend more time on Mock Draft Monday on Tuesday. We'll do that tomorrow. Thanks for being with us, making us your first listen, everybody, right here on Locked On Lions.